Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to another exciting episode, volume 20 of the Disney Compendium, a chronological look at the history of the Walt Disney Animation Studios. Uh, the 20th film in the archives here is the December 1970 release, The Aristocats. As always, I am your host, JJ, and over there, my good friend, Nick. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, JJ. I just had some stuff on my mind lately.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
like, do you ever feel like love sounds like a fight, sounds like argument, sounds like a pile driver?
I, you always just want to bring these to a screeching halt right out the gate, don't you?
Pile driver.
Pile
Yeah,
driver.
yeah,
Yeah.
pile driver.
How dare you? How dare you do this to my show again?
Just start off
I
with some Coco Beware.
Yeah, yes, thank you. This our notorious wrestling show.
If anything else, I'm getting out of the way because there's nothing else I can draw comparisons to here.
Yeah, yeah. Not, not exactly. It's like even the names don't conjure up any future
I
references to make. So
Maybe I'll throw in a joke about the maestro, but that's a reach at best.
yeah, yeah. So it's the Aristocats, or I think as you put it a few weeks ago on our 101 Dalmatians. It's like they did 101 Dalmatians again, but learned all of their mistakes.
Yeah, it's 101 Dalmatians, or it's five cats,
Yeah,
five cats,
five jazz cats. Gotta
jazz cats.
um,
Join our team,
uh,
jazz cats.
yeah. It's virtually impossible for me to say Aristocats with any sort of consistency. It's
Without,
I will say aristocrats without fail at some point during this.
and then you'll
So,
think of the dirty joke that gets dirtier and dirtier.
yeah, and then Bob Saget will come in, and then I'll have to delete the entire episode, and it's gonna be a disaster. So,
That which is standard protocol for whenever Bob Saget shows up.
when Bob Saget shows up for something, you have to just cancel it,
Burn it down,
or
cleanse it with
just
fire.
or just let it go until it runs its natural course. So yeah, I guess there is a slight wrestling reference I can make for this because
Okay,
this the the sort of original writer for this is Disney Disney story man Ken Anderson. So Mr. Kennedy wrote this particular
who wrote this
Disney.
movie? Anderson.
So there's our there's an actual direct wrestling reference that we can make to this.
Thomas O'Malley drops Napoleon on his head, and then he just goes into complaints management.
So yeah, Aristocats, 19 Christmas Eve, 1970 is its wide release. How about we get underway? uh,
It's okay. So this takes place in Paris.
it does.
This
It
is another
does.
UK movie, much like Dalmatians.
Dalmatians and last week's exciting episode of Mary Poppins. and
Mary Poppins.
yeah, I, I I hope you freed the Dick Van Dyke out of your house. I hope he's not there anymore.
I have, but guess who did show up?
Uh-oh.
Gerard Depardieu.
Nope, nope, not gonna do that. Not. You're gonna die of laughter. Just
You could end up dead like your idiot cousin's the hyenas.
yeah. So Paris,
Ten?
1900s. Yeah,
1910.
10, 10. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so we're introduced to Duchess,
Yep.
uh, voiced by Ava Gabor,
Ava Gabor. Yep.
who she will show up again in a Disney film.
She absolutely will.
She has three cats. I always forget. Is it Berlioz,
Berlioz, Marie,
Murray, and Toulouse?
Toulouse, Toulouse,
Toulouse.
Toulouse.
Yeah.
So,
Um, and, and then they're living with an older woman who looks much like the stepmom from Cinderella.
and like it's like her twin sister, where life kind of worked out for her. She
It's
didn't have all the hatred that turned her into a haggard.
it's the shattered glass version of Cinderella's mom. That's a deep cut there.
There you go. Yeah.
Um, and basically, she has her lawyer, who is this weird old Mr. Magoo looking guy
Yeah.
who shouldn't be driving.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely not.
You know, shows up because I can't remember how her name Bonfamille.
Yeah, and it's like it's bon famille.
I'm gonna call her
So,
Madame.
Madame,
I'm gonna call her Madame.
like the old puppet. The
Yeah, Madam Puppet, Madame.
yeah,
She calls her lawyer because she's going to revise her will. When she
yeah,
passes away, she's going to leave all her earthly belongings to her cats.
to
And
her
whatever
cat.
left over, her butler Edgar gets it.
No, that's not the caveat. All of her cats get it until
If
they die,
until
and
they
then
die,
when they die, Edgar gets it.
then Edgar gets it right.
Yeah, and Edgar has one of those tube things, a speaking tube, I think is what it is.
One of those Beethoven horns. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and he's eavesdropping, and
Yep.
he learns about this that if once the cats are out of the picture and she's out of the picture, he gets the inheritance. So that goes exactly how you expect when a butler is going to get a bunch of money at some point.
Well, I mean, he didn't show any signs of being evil to begin with. Like he actually kind of likes the kittens at first, it seems.
Yeah,
But
but
he's like,
then
oh, money.
the green eyes of greed come in, and it's a very serial killer like way of going about this.
Yeah, it's forensic filesy. He
Yeah.
um he he puts roofies in the cat's milk.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's not even like his plan isn't to kill them. His plan
It's
is just to get rid of them.
to drop them out in to drop them out in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just gonna he puts sleeping pills in their milk and dumps them off, and that's
Yeah.
when he that's when you get introduced to Napoleon and Lafayette.
And Napoleon voiced by the great George Goober Lindsay,
Yeah,
who
absolutely.
also will make an appearance
Yeah.
again at Disney film.
Oh yeah.
And Bonaparte is Pat Buttram from Green Acres.
It's Napoleon is
Okay. So
Pat Buttram
Lafayette's
is
George
George
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, Andy.
So yeah, Napoleon is the Bloodhound and Lafayette is the Basset Hound.
The Basset Hound. Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of sidekick to Napoleon's.
Which is weird because it's France, and so you got these two country ass sounding dogs.
It's like
Hi, what are you doing with them kittens?
yeah, it's a country bear jamboree.
Nobody dumping them kittens out here in France.
You get some real good, get some good voice actors in this movie
Yeah, you
around, like
do.
because you also get like Sterling Holloway obviously shows up.
Right.
Um,
Thurl
Paul Winch,
Ravenscroft shows up. Paul Winchell.
Paul Winchell shows up. Um, like I said earlier, you got Pat Buttram and George Lindsay do a great job in their roles.
Right.
Um, Scatman Crothers.
Yeah.
This movie. Ava Gabor is like the ideal actress for this kind of character. Like she kind of
Very posh.
Yeah, she totally like is that like character. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, and what's funny is she and Pat Butcher were in Green Acres together too. So
yeah, yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah, and you get some like the cats kind of have some hit or miss voice actor uh,
Well, I
voice
mean,
acting, but for the most part, fine.
yeah, they're both well. Yeah, I mean, the most problematic thing with the supporting cats, get
Yeah,
it,
yes,
is Paul Winchell's little song there.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but
we yeah.
yeah, I there's you can't really. It's one of those. Remember the Siamese cats from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is very Breakfast at Tiffany's as far as its
yeah,
depiction of an Asian person.
yeah. Anyways, we
Oh, we meet the
uh,
geese.
yeah. Well, we haven't even really because okay, the cats get abandoned in the countryside.
Yeah, yeah.
The
The
dogs
dog,
torture Edgar, the butler.
they're really into like biting his leg.
Yeah, yeah. Um, uh, and so and then at this point in the movie, Madame figures out that they're gone with the the horse and the mouse also distraught about this situation.
The horse frou frou.
Frou Frou, yes,
Yes,
great name for a high society horse.
yes.
Um,
And Paul Winchell, or sorry, Sterling Holloway is the mouse.
it's the mouse Roquefort. Uh,
Yes.
Roquefort is a type of cheese, and it's a mouse. So
This movie's got jokes.
yeah, it's got jokes, folks. Like yeah, very go figure. A Parisian cheese name comes up for the mouse. Um, so yeah, so we get to we get to meet Thomas O'Malley.
Uh, O'Malley the alley cat.
Yes, I love.
Uh,
Also, recognize it's Thomas O'Malley, so it's a tomcat. Like
and it voiced by our friend uh,
Phil Harris.
Phil Harris. I blanked on his last name.
Phil Harris. Yep. So
Philip Banks.
Philip Banks
Phil,
and
pl
so yeah.
pretty much playing like a feline version of Baloo.
Yep. So last week we had him as Blue. This week we have him as Thomas. Next week we're gonna have him as Little John. So
Yeah,
uh, we're gonna get plenty of him just playing the same character.
just pretty much like Cool Breeze. That's its key. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's like in Robin Hood, it's more or less he's playing the same character in a depressingly literal
he's
sense.
Baloo.
Yeah,
He's Baloo
like
in that
it's
movie.
Baloo, and like the character itself is Baloo. Like
Yeah,
it's like it's not they took Baloo. Okay, we'll get that's not to say.
we'll get into well, no, we're not going to besmirch the name of Robin Hood on this
Yes,
podcast, sir.
yes. We'll wait till next week to besmirch the
No,
name of Robin.
no, we don't besmirching. So
There's
anyway,
got to be some besmirching. It deserves a little shred of besmirching.
no, sir, no, sir. So anyway, the uh, Duchess and the kittens meet O'Malley. He agrees to get them back to home. I think under the guise of hooking up with Duchess.
It's not much of a guise. It's pretty apparent.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
What's funny about uh, this movie, and we joke about like it's 101 Dalmatians and everything, but the fact that it takes place in Paris is directly connected to 101 Dalmatians
yeah,
because like it was a boy, this really works. let's do that again.
Yeah.
Like,
Instead of the English countryside, it's the French countryside.
yeah, yeah. And this was originally going to be a TV show. Like, it wasn't
How?
originally. Well, so it was going to be The Wonderful World of Color,
Okay.
and it was just going to be 2 episodes for Wonderful World of Color, but it was going to be live action. That was
Huh?
the original plan for this when they started developing. They wanted animal stories for the Wonderful World of Color, and so some people get tasked to it, and it started its life as a 2-part live action series for the Wonderful World of Color.
Oh, like kind of like how they used to have like Mr. Beaver's going down the river, and so they would have like a guy narrate his little story.
I don't think it's going to be. It's There's really no way to tell because like they get Harry Title and Tom McGowan were the two that were um, that was their job to come up with this story. So the movie was never made, and it eventually became what it is. But they get the story credit, like based on the story by credit. So it may have just been like, yeah, it may have been trying to tell this story with cats just kind of milling about. I don't know.
But I mean,
That sounds terrible. That sounds like
well,
like it's not like it's that darn cat where you can just use the mischief that a cat kind of gets into regularly anyways. And like this is a very specific plot of it's I guess a butler trying to kill some cats. Supposedly is easy enough because the cats don't have to have character because the plot doesn't really need the cats to be like anthropomorphic or even be able to talk or anything. It's because it really is a story of a crazy guy wanting money. So
I mean, was this like kind of because Incredible Journey had so much success and like, hey, just do it with a bunch of cats?
yeah, yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically it could have been that, but
Uh, well, I don't know. I wouldn't have trusted Disney with this because
no,
look up
especially
Disney and Lemmings on the
yeah,
internet, folks.
yeah. It's like it's for everything that they did, like um
Milo and Otis.
but that was Japan's fault, not
Yes, that's true.
they they just took the movie and
It
but
didn't look into how it was made.
yeah, but no, like those true life adventures did a lot because for um, going forward for nature documentaries because it wasn't really a thing at the time, and it sort of grew nature documentaries out of it. So it's for every lemmings that they did, there was a bunch of like, here's something that you've never seen before that you're gonna find interesting, and it's going to expand your understanding of like a person in 1960. What are the chances they've seen something from like the African you know savannah or something? Like it's
Yeah,
unlikely unless you read
Nat Geo.
National Geographic. It's and who the only people that get a National Geographic uh, subscription are libraries and doctors' offices. So
It's
so
yeah. So sit down and watch this documentary about capybaras.
yeah, and they knew that people suck. So like nobody's gonna be interested in watching a cat just sort of hang about and living its life. We got to pretend like they're humans and like get put. That's the thing. That's the problem that most people will give to them, especially nature specialists and stuff like doctors and stuff that go through this. Like what you've done is you make people think that like, oh, it's doing that because that's how people are. It's like, well, that's not really. Yeah,
Which is and it's funny, like you said, like people wouldn't like to watch that, but then you
yeah,
flash forward to now, and it's like I think I watch like a live cam feed of a giraffe trying to give birth last year.
yeah. Just 2 days ago, Disney put up hours of a live stream, just a cat for just
Oh, for Captain Marvel, yeah.
to promote Captain Marvel, so you could just watch Goose. just being a cat. Like there was nothing going on. Zoos have live feeds now where you can just watch, penguins kind of flop about or whatever. Like, yeah, I was like, oh, how many hours of, have I wasted watching Planet Earth? you
Right.
know,
And
so
and they construct a story at Planet Earth as well. So it's like,
yeah, yeah, but to base it more on the reality of the situation, but still having to sort of anthropomorphize in a small sense these characters because you have to make people sort of understand in their own terms what the similar situation to you is this animal's going through. So
yeah, it's like, why should you care about this lizard being chased by a bunch of snakes?
yeah,
Well, he's the only one who survives, and so there you go.
but early on, Boris Karloff was going to be the voice of Edgar, which
That would be great.
yeah, and the lady that they were originally going to have be Madam um, was just a old French actress. Like her movie credits are just all French movies, which would have been really cool. I
Yeah,
think, like somebody who would be in that who's literally this character that you're having them portray, like
yeah.
a high society French older woman, like
But they'd have to have her like just chain smoking the whole movie and have a lot of ennui.
yeah.
Where are my cats? I've lost my cats. I do
Uh,
not care. Life is meaningless. Puff.
so, anyways, back to the story.
Back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
Uh, so Marie almost drowns.
Yeah, we just met Thomas when we left off.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Uh,
he's gonna take her back with the
right.
and they're in the milk truck. I think is
There's a
where we
milk
meet.
truck.
Yeah,
Um, there's like a thing on the truck where the cats fall out. Marie
yeah,
falls.
because there's like they're on like a trestle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the
It's
train.
it's very it's very Dalmatians here too.
Yes, very.
Marie falls into the river. O'Malley saves her. And then he starts drowning, and these geese save him.
Yeah, yes, they do.
Now, I couldn't figure out why the geese were so familiar to me, and oh snap, dude, the Odd Couple, the two upstairs neighbors, that's them. It is the Cuckoo Pigeon Sisters.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep. It's and I what is their name? I know it's like Abigail and
Amelia,
Amelia. Yeah,
Amelia.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, it's this weird like if that scene wasn't in there,
It'd just be 2 minutes shorter.
it would just be too many short. Like it doesn't need to be there. Like Thomas could have saved him and then have that be it.
Yeah.
And um, and it is funny because like and by the way, when Nick says that they're it's the Odd Couple, no, it's literally they're in the Odd Couple.
Yes, the
it's,
actress
it's,
like
it's the actresses. They're basically reprising their role because the Odd Couple movie came out 2 years before this,
right
so it was just sort of this weird bit of pop
Met,
culture, like
meta.
meta. Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to keep in mind at this point, Walt Disney isn't in the picture at all. Um, he had his hand in the Jungle Book. Nothing here, essentially. The movie was being sort of developed in the early, or the two-part series and stuff was being developed in the '60s and stuff. But by the time this became a movie, there's no Walt, so this kind of weird meta humor um, is going to start popping up.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, um,
But it's a good casting.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's smart. Like you got to give them that. And I know that I remember seeing um, one of them. Um, it was
the redhead.
Amelia
Yeah.
just recently passed away.
Oh, okay.
Like last year, like
Oh my
summer of
goodness.
last year. So so just frame of reference, like, because a lot of these movies are, this is 1970, so
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 this movie's almost 50 years old,
yeah, we're getting up there.
which is insane to me to think that 1970 was 49 years ago.
It's funny, this movie in particular. I think I associate this in a weird way with um, Oliver and Company, because of like, I don't know why, but I feel like they came like this this should be closer to one another in terms of release.
Is it just the cat thing,
I don't
or
know if I don't. I think
it,
because of I think the cat thing sort of like makes me think of Oliver and Company, and then it just makes me think that this was released closer to it when clearly there's a decade.
yeah. Well, and I can see that because
Yeah,
the ensemble for this movie is pretty close to the ensemble for Oliver Company and Dodgers O'Malley, basically. So,
yeah, yeah.
eh, I mean,
And I think it must have been re-released at around. That was my thought, is like it must have just been re-released at some point, and I know it was re-released. And I think it was pretty. I'm looking at my notes now.
in theaters or
In
on
theaters,
Blu-ray.
in theaters.
I think this was re-released in the 80s.
Yeah, it must have been close to like a year or two before Oliver and Company or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
there we go. 80 and 87. There's my notes. Yeah.
Um,
So
I
and Oliver and Company was 88. So
yeah,
my guess is that there was probably a lot of like material to buy at around the same time.
yeah. 87 sounds right because I think that was about the time where it's like, hey, you can watch Aristocats or go see Transformers the movie. Like, well, I know what I'm picking.
So yeah, so the, the geese come in,
Save
save the
O'Malley.
day, save O'Malley, save the day of the day that's been saved. Like,
Yeah,
and they they stay with them inexplicably. Like, I don't understand these geese's presence in this movie.
I don't know. They're just kind of
It's not like,
they're
it's
not
not like the dogs or something where it's this sort of cute, like, dogs and cats living together kind of
mass
nonsense.
hysteria.
Yeah, it's just these geese show up. I don't associate geese with ducks. I guess they both have the potential of being like super jerks.
Yeah, geese are not friendly, lovable creatures.
No, they're mean.
They're they're terrible demon birds.
How many times you can type, if you type goose or geese into YouTube, I would say 90% of the first like 50 searches is all just geese chasing people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, just being like trying to get you out of the park or wherever they're at.
Or just try to steal your lunch.
Yeah, just like, hey, you got food. I want both your food and you out of here. So
I no joke. One time went to a park. My family and I, and we had got KFC, and I was sitting there eating chicken strips, and I dropped one, and I no joke saw a friggin' goose eat a chicken strip off the ground, and it was oddly unnerving.
it's like, because oh, that's a
It's
bird.
chicken.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's a bird. You're eating a bird, my dude. But
You damn terror bird! Get the hell out of here. Anyway,
anyway, Ed,
that aside, Edgar
Edgar
goes back.
Edgar goes back to
He
get his
dropped his
stuff.
hats.
Yeah, yes, to get his stuff, because I like that it's like to get like evidence, but like evidence of what? There's no, honestly, like, the cats went missing. Like, if they found your hat, it's not
Yeah,
like you killed the cats, even though by abandoning them out there you effectively left them to die.
right.
But like, it's not like the cops are gonna go out there and find like a sack of kittens
Yeah.
or something like,
Oh, there's a hat next to it.
and
This
it's
is
your
foul
hat.
play. It's
So
your hat.
like
Like
this
I
is
don't know.
it's 1910. There's no forensics. He was like, that's not my
I,
hat.
also, I don't know where my cat is right now.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
she, she could be anywhere in this house. I don't.
It's a telltale heart situation because the only thing you're worried about is just sort of in your own mind at this point. Like,
Yeah, it's.
like, or are they gonna? All you have to say is that's not my hat, and it's your hat. But they can't prove otherwise.
uh, I'm going to guess there's a lot of those similar hats floating around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Sorry, Johnny Fedora.
yeah.
You dead.
So, yeah. So, yeah, it's the it's weird. It's so what? Next we get the rooftop scene, don't we?
Yep.
The
They start
very
they dance, and then the admiral starts yelling about Hottentots at the cats.
yep.
Wait,
This is
no, no, that's not what happens.
that's last week's movie.
Okay, right.
Um,
Uh,
Although still technically just as racist.
yes, yes, it is. But this is where we meet Scat Cat,
Where we meet Scat Cat, voiced by Scatman
Scatman
Crothers.
Crothers, which is kind of that's pretty on the nose there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, and this is where you get the song from the movie.
Everybody
Everybody
wants to be
Cat. Also, notice you don't pronounce the second E in
everybody.
everybody, because that's how it's written on the soundtrack is EV apostrophe RYBODY. So
This is
uh,
also where he tells Toulouse that he has the Shining too.
yes, yes, good, good. You're just gonna tie this into everything that you possibly can.
That Scatman Crothers has done.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
so um, yeah. So uh, boy, that
Mm,
that Chinese cat, huh?
yeah. Voiced by
Yeah.
Paul Winchell.
Voiced by Paul Winchell, the ever lovely Paul Winchell. Don't have a bad thing to say about Paul Winchell, except for this.
Yeah. Voice of Tigger.
Tigger.
Voice of one of the banana splits. Voice of the Sam I Am in that weird Green Eggs and Ham cartoon my kids watched from the 1970s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good. Um,
No, no. A lot of that uh, lawsuit stuff was done without any sort of real permission. So it goes.
he does not like them, Sam I Am. He doesn't like green eggs and ham. God. Anyway, so yeah, he Siamese cat.
Yeah, yeah.
He playing the drums with chopsticks.
Yes, very much so. Very. Uh, it's just that
Should we say the exact thing he said?
I. Mm, uh,
It's
I don't think so.
okay.
I think you.
I,
If okay.
okay. I will. I will shorten it. He says something that sounds like Chinese. Then he goes, "Fortune cookie always wrong," which is man, it might as well be PP in your Coke. Honestly,
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
woof.
Did you, did you ever see the Jello commercial with the Chinese baby in it?
I, no, I have not.
It's this like it's this super like offensive, obviously black and white commercial for Jello, and it's like a Chinese baby. It's like, and it hits every stereotype you can, like the mispronunciation of the word "great,"
Oh
and
no.
like trying to eat Jello with chopsticks, and it
Oh
is
my
like he's like,
God.
oh, but it's like, oh, but great American invention, the spoon, and it's like, oh,
Uh, it's almost like the last scene of Christmas Story
yeah,
where they're having dinner and you're like, hmm,
yeah,
that's a bold choice there.
yeah, it's legitimately painful, and like this movie probably would have come out not too long after like that commercial would have existed. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
it's
so
very
we get the song,
yeah. We
which
get the song.
aside from that horror is a good song.
Oh, I also want to point out that Paul Winchell was also Gargamel. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but
Was he?
he was Gargamel in the Smurfs.
Okay, I can see. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that Tigger wasn't his only.
Make sure you tell me like Paul Winchell is one of the Transformers.
No, but he was also Dick Dastardly.
He was, yeah.
Yes, and
And
I
Hong Kong Fooey.
yeah,
Oh no, that was Scatman. Sorry.
that's Catback. Yeah, I love wacky races, so it's one of
Nope.
those
Number
things.
one super spy.
uh, but he was in Hong Kong Philly. He was
He was. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
he wasn't Hong Kong Philly himself. Like
What?
yeah, he was just everywhere. I mean, like they need a voice character, so here we go. You know, hey, we're doing the Spider-Man in the '80s cartoon. We need Uncle Ben, so here's your
It's Paul Winchell.
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Winchell's the voice
yeah.
of whatever.
Actually, and he
But
was
really,
doing and he was doing Disney stuff like up until the end of the '90s, and when he um eventually
he
passed
voiced
away.
Tigger for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think if you do and it's funny because I think the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh ride at Disney World features his voice.
Okay.
I don't think the Disneyland one does. I think it's different, like because it's the same ride but also
You know
different.
what? Let me just IMDb our friend Paul Winchell.
Yeah,
Just let me do that real quick.
I do that.
JD, you give the good people some facts about this movie while I do that.
We'll talk about some of the fun stuff. So, uh, see, you put me on the spot. I wasn't really prepared for um, any of this, but so yeah,
He,
this movie was the first one to come out after Disney's death, and to not have not the first one to come out of his death, but the first one to come out that didn't have any of his uh, hand in it. So when they got Thomas O'Malley uh, to do the voice of, or not Thomas O'Malley, when they got Phil Harris to do the voice of Thomas O'Malley, it's not Phil Harris. Why do I keep saying? I keep getting the wrong. No, it's Phil Harris. It's Phil
it's
Harris.
Phil Harris.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think it was Phil Harris, but yeah, they wanted him to. They specifically wanted him to not be Baloo. They failed.
He was blue.
Yeah,
You want to say it's Phil Spencer, don't you?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. But also,
Could tell
Phil
you.
Harris, I think that's somebody. Isn't that the? I don't know. That's somebody that. So there's another
Works.
person named Phil Harris that I'm not. Is that
Doesn't
the?
he work at NOA Treehouse? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Uh,
Yeah.
but
So JJ, you like okay? So uh, our boy Paul Winchell.
yeah,
You're correct. He was the voice of Gargamel.
Arkham.
He
Yeah,
um he also he was also in the Gummy Bears.
another Disney hit.
He was in Fox and the Hound.
Yep.
He was Boomer.
Yes, he was.
He played Marmaduke in 13 episodes of Heathcliff. I don't remember any Marmaduke episodes of Heathcliff.
Yeah, boy, that's gonna be something after they were done doing this. I'm gonna type in Heathcliff Marmaduke to see what in the world that could possibly be.
He did a voice in the Jetsons.
Okay, he just voiceover guy. Like my Phil Harris story was going to end up being that the initial. It's described as the director says his take on Thomas O'Malley is based off of Clark Gable,
Huh?
and I'm just like, no, it is not.
Swing Animus.
Yeah,
Um,
it's Clark Gable, but it's still Baloo. Like the character
It's
is 100% Baloo. Like he
yep.
holds himself with like Baloo. He talks it's like Baloo. He is Baloo. So
He instead of a shiftless jungle bum, he's a shiftless street cat.
yeah, that's a
So,
sad thing about this one is this is the last animated feature from the Sherman Brothers.
uh, yeah.
They don't work
Well,
on well, you know, once you lose Walt Disney, you're gonna start the cracks are gonna start showing in some of these things, and it's like they weren't happy. Um, but they did finish. They did the music for Bedknobs and Broomsticks,
right.
and sort of that was it until the Tigger movie.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know,
Which is weird because I really like the music in next week's episode. So,
yeah,
yeah, go
yeah.
figure.
So yeah,
Uh,
next week's episode's another one of those changing of the guard kind of situations. So because yeah, you're gonna lose the Sherman Brothers. Sherman Brothers didn't have a particularly huge, um, you know, stay in the Disney company, but it was very significant. So
they left a giant footprint.
oh, absolutely, to the point like you still see. I forget which one's the surviving brother, but he was you know, he shows up from time to time too.
Hmm.
Like he was in the what was he? He was just in the end credits for a recent Disney movie. I can't remember. Yeah,
Mm,
like he did an original. I think Richard Sherman is the one that's still alive.
okay, yeah. He
Oh,
plays for
oh
the
no,
four.
it was Christopher Robin. It's Christopher Robin. He appears in the post credits of Christopher Robin where he's playing music with during the while the credits are rolling and the family's on the beach and stuff.
Right.
So yeah,
And, and
and he's physically in it. He's playing piano, performing an original song. Um,
and he's also a cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers.
yep, Richard.
For,
Yep,
yep.
former Seahawk.
Former Seahawk. Former
uh,
Seahawk.
uh,
Uh,
but
so
also
anyway,
yeah, and he was they used him as a consultant for Mary Poppins Returns. So
yeah. And I'm sure he was probably a consultant for Sim and Mr. Banks as well.
you would have, yeah, absolutely would have to be, especially since you have a person portraying you in the
Playing him,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's the heart of so much of the heart of that story revolves around their music, anyways. So
Right.
like it's a big plot point. So yeah, we sadly lose the Sherman Brothers for a while. Um, boy, Bedknobs and Broomsticks might have to be something that we talk about at some point.
I I think we do because it's very Poppins-ish,
Yes, yes,
including having the guy who played Banks, Mr.
yep,
Banks, in the movie.
yeah, and you got Angela Lansbury in it.
Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, so this is yeah,
Her first run in with Disney.
yeah. So yeah, this is so that yeah, we may have to do that, and I think that's getting a. There's something about I. It's not a remake. I think it's getting like a stage show or something this year.
Oh. Yeah, has that been released on Blu-ray recently?
I don't know about Blu-ray. I know for sure it was a
Regular
late.
DVD and VHS, yeah, but
Yeah, it might have been a late run DVD too. So
hmm.
unrelated to anything we're
I
talking
don't really
about,
know what
other
we're
than
doing,
Mr. Sherman.
except it has animation in it, which so does this movie.
Yeah,
And so basically, here we go. We're the song's over with. O'Malley and Duchess are on the roof. O'Malley basically proposes marriage,
yeah,
which whatever
yeah,
that is for cats.
yeah. I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like yeah, cats are cats barely want to hang out like anyways, but now they're gonna hang out together forever. Like
Right. Yeah, the most aloof creature on the planet is going to
yeah,
propose marriage.
be tied down
Yeah,
and take care of these kids that aren't his.
yeah. Well, good on you, O'Malley.
Yeah,
Uh,
Riley's a Riley's a good Riley's a good man. Really, at the end of the day, he's a
yeah,
much more. I don't. I was got like sympathetic's not the right word, but it's close enough to what I want. Like than um, Tramp. Like,
Yeah,
very similar style of character. Like, not.
he's more emotionally mature.
Yeah, yeah. He's not really like the same level of childish.
Right.
Like, and he's not really out like he's not really out to scam so much as like it just like maybe initially, but
Right.
it quickly turns into like I actually do like you kind of thing
Yeah,
relatively really quickly. There's not.
he's actually fond of Duchess and the kittens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um, so she says no because
Yeah.
she's loyal to the Madam Puppet, and they head back to the mansion,
Yep.
and Edgar ships them off to A-
Timbuktu.
Abu Dhabi with Nermal.
Yeah. But no, literally, it's Timbuktu. Like
It is Timbuktu.
the biggest. Like to this day, that's still a goof. They're gonna ship you off to Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Like I don't know which came first, this or that joke. Like, did this create the joke, or did the joke come before that? Because that used to be a thing. Like, like ship you off to Timbuktu or ship like a sight gag, like with a
Yeah.
sticker on it. Like, so I don't know which came first.
If you could tell me offhand without looking exactly what country Timbuktu is located in,
Oh,
I will be impressed.
I know it's like no, it's got to be Mali or something, right? Like it's something weird like that.
It is that your final answer, sir?
Yeah,
Uh, guess what, dog? You nailed it. It is Molly.
it's got to be then. It's got to be like near the Niger River or something. I'm assuming or something like that. Like it's
Somebody's been wikiing. Yeah, it is.
yeah. I just I remember because it's one of those stupid facts that stick in your brain.
Thanks a
Uh,
lot, fifth grade history class,
yeah,
geographic.
I
Yeah,
don't I
whatever.
don't need to know anything about Timbuktu other than this is where cats were gonna get shipped off to inexplicably. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
what's the difference between Timbuktu and you know anywhere else in Paris? Like,
Brussels. Okay, just anywhere.
I mean, like
Like,
it's 1910. Like, there's a war zone somewhere you can ship them to, right? It's like
yeah,
give soldiers a morale boost.
it's just like, yeah, just the dog, the cats are all like in those World War One gas masks.
Yeah. Wonder Woman would be even better of a movie
Yeah.
if these cats just showed up.
Hi, Duchess. I can't stay. I gotta go fight the Kaiser. So yeah, Edgar's an idiot.
He's so
Uh,
dumb. And like from yeah, he's a bumbling oaf throughout the thing.
but oh, he's thwarted by O'Malley and the gang.
Yeah. It's always funny to me. Like we were joking about it in 101 Dalmatians. We're joking about this. Like, how inept do you have to be thwarted by? Well, in this case,
Animals.
animals. In this case, like a single cat for the most part. Like,
One cat.
yeah, the other animals are there and sort of help out, but it
Yeah.
was O'Malley. It was like
What-
you were thwarted by a single cat. A
Yeah, this is
cat.
not like
Like you can pick up a cat one handed.
yeah. This is not like Cornelius plotting the overthrow of man here.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
it's
yeah, it's not like some sort of super cat. It is a normal dang cat.
it is not Streaky the super cat. No.
Yeah, and it's a street cat. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a street cat riffraff, but he don't buy that.
yeah,
Somehow Edgar gets locked into his own packing case and sent Timbuktu himself.
yep. Where I presume he dies along the way because I mean it's 1910.
Yeah,
He's in a package going to Timbuktu. Like
yeah, going to some Middle Eastern land and
in an era where you were sending packages via air freight.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's like he's gonna be
he's go-
on
he's
some steamer ship.
yeah, he's going to be in on a he's going to be on a boat for
Yeah,
who knows how long.
yeah.
You would assume that hopefully that's well, I mean, hopefully for him that they hear your pathetic screams coming from this box heading to and free you, but
Yep. O'Malley just
how
like the white man stands no choice in that country. They're gonna cut his arms off.
yeah, but yeah, so Edgar ends up in the sends himself there, and then you get the finale of the movie where uh, thank God Madam decides to write him out of the will. Like,
Yeah, it's like just like, well, yeah, I should probably exclude him.
uh, you know, you're knocking on heaven's door if something happened to you in like the ensuing week, he'd still be getting everything after still.
I mean, to be fair, her lawyer is of no use.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
basically a shambling corpse of a person.
Yeah, and she has no idea of any of it either. Like so uh
Yeah, that's the weird.
so we really don't know why. She just knows he's gone. So
Yeah,
he's not there. So she's just writing him out of the will because she doesn't know what he tried to do. She doesn't know that he knew. So she's just writing him out of his will because he's disappeared. So
and then in a very 101 Dalmatians ending, she uses that money to set up a trust for like all the street cats in Paris,
yeah, orphan cats.
orphan
So
cats.
yeah, yeah. Uh, where you get scat cat again at the
Yeah,
end of it. So,
and you get the song again,
again, you needed the
and
song again.
and you get the same dancing again, and you'll get the same dancing again next week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's gonna be some recycling going on these days.
Yeah,
But
uh, it's it's just Eric Rowan there.
so, it's boy, you found a way,
I
didn't you?
found one.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's 78 minutes, but it feels like 40 minutes because just kind of everything
It
just kind of happens and happens at a breakneck speed.
yeah, it this movie does not waste your time.
No, it does not.
It's like,
Not
hey, you see where it's like every once in a while the movie's like, you see where this is going, right? Cool.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
uh, so that's
But
Aristocats in a
that's
nutshell.
yeah, the Aristocats.
The Aristocats. It's super racist, and that guy died on a steamship.
we we always find a way to when the villain doesn't die. We always find a way to how they could have died. I've
Yeah,
noticed. Like just
we like we like the head canon, the worst outcome for these people.
yeah. So yeah, this is one of those movies that was like hey, how about okay, you're gonna make this movie. You know what? You're not gonna make this movie anymore. You're gonna make the live action stuff. You're gonna make this movie.
Yeah, check it out, Infinity Ward. It's your turn to make.
Yeah, yeah. So in 1966 is when this movie started to really um, like move forward
The animated
because
version or the
the
movie?
animated version.
Okay,
So 1966 is when Walt assigns the project to Ken Anderson,
Anderson.
and not even to not even to like make the movie, but to like is is this can this be a movie? Like, is this a thing that we can release as a film? Um, and basically just it started with the concept and just made a whole new thing out of it. So uh, this would have probably been the last thing that Walt saw because this is 1966, 1967 time. He probably would have seen early sketches.
Yeah,
and like for like approval processes, and then nothing else. So he didn't really have. So he didn't know any of the plot points or anything other than probably very basic stuff. Um,
And he was already in declining health at this point, so he had other things on his mind, and so
yeah. And like there was originally a plot point in this movie that they took out because it was too emotional because um, uh, Duchess had she was like obsessed with um, adopters for her kittens. Like that was sort of like a plot point in the original version of the movie. Like she wanted a better life for her cats, I guess, or kittens, I guess.
a better
Yeah,
they live with a rich lady. How
I mean,
what?
like not better life, like a life equivalent of like because like I'm not going to be able to have these cats like this old lady is.
Right?
They're going to be adopted out.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't want
but
them mating with each other.
like I think the only sort of plot anything Walt had for this movie was to kill that part of the storyline. He wanted it to be like 101 Dalmatians. That was his sort of production notes. Like it should be an adventure, not like an adventure comedy. So that was sort of
And they took him literally because it is 101 Dalmatians.
yeah. And they took away. There was supposed to be two servants. There was going to be the butler and the maid, but the maid never makes an appearance. So yeah, exciting. This is uh, the movie took like 8 months to make, essentially, from once they got it underway. So yeah,
So they
but
start after the Jungle Book, or like right around the same time,
yes,
or
like almost immediately after the Jungle Book.
okay.
Like yeah, so they did like all the developing of the movie and stuff. And this is one of the big Nine Old Men movies.
Right? Yeah.
Like so, like everyone in the Nine Old Men had been at the studio for decades at this point. So you know,
I kind of wonder, since they had Phil Harris for Jungle Book, and they
yeah.
have for this movie, and they have him for Robin Hood, like, do you think they just had, like, we're just going to keep you in the studio in the recording booth for a good solid 8 months here, sir?
Yeah,
Just doing lines, bud.
yeah. I mean, because at the time, that was just sort of how the studio system worked, anyways. No matter where you were in Hollywood, still, So if you got the guy you like to work with, you keep the guy that you like to work with. He knows your process. He knows, and you know that you can trust him to take the direction that you need. So
Right.
why not? Why not use Phil Harris again? And especially coming off of the Jungle Book, which is just a massive success. Like and with in part to the popularity of the character of Baloo. So why not go back to that again and again and again and again and again and again and
And from multiple angles and again and again.
again? But yeah, so it only makes sense from a studio that's trying to make as much money as possible with working with as little, but spending as little money as possible. So yeah. Speaking of the money earned, uh, 10 million.
What was the budget?
And the budget was, I think, if I recall, it was like a $4 million budget because I think it was about, yeah, 4 million was about this going at around this time. We'll see a lot of bumping around from like 3-4 million dollars. So
It doubled its budget, though.
it doubled its budget. I think the next movie costs a little more, which is kind of absurd to think about, all
How
things
dare you,
considered.
sir? How dare
But
you, sir?
but at the same time, like it also doesn't make nearly as much money. But the industry as a whole is about to go into a downturn. So for various reasons, and Walt's death is finally going to start taking its toll any minute now, and um, we're getting we're getting very very close to the Eisner era at this point. Like
Yeah.
very very close. Um, which is going to be a lot to take in
Hmm.
when we get to that, when he takes over. But for better, for like, we're gonna talk trash about Eisner, but not everything that he did was terrible. And
No.
so,
Tonight, I'd like to present to you Mr. Boogity. It's a
yes,
family film about a ghost.
that's not. And the sad thing is that's pretty. That's basically it. That's yeah. So, yeah. So yeah. So its initial rentals for the '70s, 10 million. By when all is said and done, after re-releases and everything, this movie has made 191 million dollars.
Sheesh.
Like I said, it was re-released a couple of times. Um, it was. I had to look up to see. I always like to look up to see, like, wonder how popular this was in like the country it takes place. So I wanted to see how popular it was in France
Hmm.
uh, during that time, and it was a massive hit in France. It was the second biggest pop movie of the year in France that year. I forget what the first most popular movie was, but
I'm going to guess it was something with an abstract story in black and white, from the black and white.
let's see if I can find it again. It's probably in my. Uh, uh, I don't know. The poster has a hippie on it with the so
Le Hippie.
yeah. So I don't know what that movie is,
Uh,
but
that movie was called The Professional.
it's
Yep.
always yeah. It was an early draft of Star Wars that was
Yeah.
6 years before it made its way to
Like,
America.
hey, Nick, name a French movie.
Yeah,
The Professional.
yeah. Leon the Professional. Uh, so yeah, massive hit, almost $200 million um, for them, and so couldn't be happier. This is
Right. Like, it's for basically like just kind of copying and pasting the Dalmatians plot.
yeah, yeah, and it was well received. You know, uh, critics liked it. Uh, I think Roger Ebert loved it. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars. So
Yeah,
hey,
it's
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I like the movie.
yeah, it's fine. It's a fine movie. Um, I think on Rotten Tomatoes it's sitting at like a 6 out of 10,
That's
or
not
like, or I guess that would be Metacritic, so it'd be like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes,
that's
60,
not
60-ish, which is like that seems fair based by Disney standards. Like the problem with this is like it's a Disney movie, and you have to base it off of Disney movies, and it's like it's better than virtually anything we talked about in the '40s.
right.
Um, but it's not as good as stuff they put out in the last few years,
No.
or it's not as good as the future movies that we're going to get to in the next couple of weeks, and so like tomorrow, next week, and some other ones shortly after that. I think middle of the road. It's like this is a middle of the road Disney movie,
Yeah.
and I think
It,
that's fair.
it,
I'm not even saying that's bad. It's just it's they could be a better movie. I don't think it looks particularly great.
no, it had
It's
this a lot of same problems Dalmatians did.
it's a lot of thick, sketchy lines and sort of. I don't even think the character designs are all that impressive. Like they don't stand like the 101 Dalmatians character designs stand out. Um, like Thomas O'Malley is just a very plain cat character.
He's a
You
street
know,
cat with a bow around his neck.
yeah, and like Duchess is probably the most
Yeah.
noteworthy looking character, and it's still just a
A white
fancy cat,
cat.
a white
Yeah,
cat.
it's the fancy feast cat.
It's a fancy feast cat, yeah. And
Yeah.
like we said even earlier, like Madam is just not too far removed from previous characters. Edgar, I guess. I mean, like even he's
Just this British guy with a big nose, and it's
yeah.
just kind of
It's
yeah.
he's not too different from like he could have been the third henchman for Cruella.
Right,
You know, like
Jasper. He's Jasper.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's by no stretch of the imagination a bad movie, and it's interesting because it's like it's jazz themed, which is very unique for a cartoon,
but it's
especially like
France, and the jazz scene was big in
yeah,
France.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it makes
yeah.
sense for all of that. Um, so you know, it hasn't this movie in particular because we get to the legacy stuff now and like how much money it made and its
Mhm.
coherent stuff. Um, boy, this has nothing. Like it had
No
zero,
sequels.
no sequels, no lasting impact, no theme parks. There was going to be a sequel, but it's the story that we've told a million times over. There was a sequel planned, and like not that long ago either. We're talking it's 2019 now, so like 15 years ago, like when Lasseter took over, is when it got canceled. So it's so you're looking at 10 years ago by this point, because
It,
Lasseter took over because it was going to be a CG sequel because
huh.
it was like brought up. It's like we're gonna do sequels to Chicken Little, Meet the Robinsons, and the Aristocats.
Oh, I feel like one of those things not like the others,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Um,
but yeah, you
and it
said like
was and it was going to be a movie about it was like there's a plot for it and everything. It was going to be Marie like on a cruise ship foiling it's like a foiling a heist, like a jewel heist, like like this
so.
weird
It's Speed 2.
yes.
It's
and,
Speed
and
2.
and I'm like, this would have been 2008, when this would have come out or something, if they were worked on it. So, but obviously Lasseter took over and sort of anything that was sort of in pre-production or they're working on stuff like nope. So we luckily
Yeah.
never got the mid 2000s Aristocats 3D CG sequel by Disney Toon Studios, who never really made a hit movie. Like they
Featuring the
respond.
voice of Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I would have loved to have known who they would have gotten to be these characters, and
Actually, she
like
did do a voice for a sequel. Never mind.
I no, that actually would have, huh?
No,
But
she
like,
did
yeah, which one?
for Hunchback 2.
Oh, Jesus, right, aren't you? Yeah, Christ, you're right. Boy, I always forget about because like Disney Toon Studios, bless their hearts. Uh,
Bless their hearts.
yeah, oh bless you,
Bless
bless you, child.
you.
Because it's a hit or a miss because it's a banner for to release Disney animated stuff, but like they had different studios doing it, and they were all based on this is Disney France, this is Disney Australia, this is Disney Canada, this is Disney Japan, and they had like these five different Disney studios working on these things. So it's like, for every Pocahontas 2 Journey to the New World, you get a Goofy movie,
Right.
or Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas,
Or
or the Tigger movie. You
or
know,
or Treasure the Lost Lamp.
Treasure of the Lost Lamp would have been like their first film out the gate, and it's like that movie's great.
Yes, it is. It is
Like
absolutely good.
it's genuinely great. But then and then Return of Jafar, like that's a Return of Jafar is a pretty decent sequel, which we'll obviously have to talk about at some point. But you know, but like everything else is like, especially towards the end, where you get like uh when it actually becomes Disney Toon Studios, because those movies were like uh it was like Disney Movie Toon
Right.
Studio, and then it gets rebranded to Disney Toon, and so that's when you get Piglet's movie, Jungle Book 2, Mulan 2,
Just
like
like whatever sequel we can crank out.
yeah, Bambi 2, Brother Bear 2. Like
Cinderella 2 and 3.
2 and 3, and they started doing the Tinkerbell movies towards the very end, which aren't great, but moneymakers.
There's a
So
market for those,
yeah,
absolutely.
and I think they did the Cars spinoff. I think they did Planes, which
Oh
would have fun.
gosh.
Which, but
Meh.
both Planes movies, maybe even because there were two of them.
There were two
Uh,
Planes movies?
Planes movies, and
Why?
both of them were in theaters. So, and,
Holy God.
and not like in theaters like the Tinkerbell sequels were in theaters, where it's like a Fathom event. We're talking like they had like not now. Since we have you here and you're trapped with us now.
You're
Uh,
luck. You're stuck. Hey, JJ.
hey,
Uh,
you want to know?
can I?
Want to hear one of the most depressing things you'll hear right now?
Yeah,
Planes had a budget of $50 million and it made $239 million.
that's horrifying.
That's horrifying. So Planes, Fire and Rescue had a budget of $50 million and made $151 million. So, uh, ouch.
Yeah. Hey, JJ, do you want to hear about a good Disney movie, animated film, real quick?
Sure. Is it
Hey,
Aristocats?
no. Uh, so this I'm gonna date this podcast. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse just won for best animated film.
Absolutely, as it should have.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll get to the current news section because
Yeah.
going up against The
Wreck-It Ralph.
Incredible and Wreck-It Ralph, right? The Incredibles 2, right? Is in there
Yeah.
too? Is that?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs and The Grinch, I think.
No, it was some Japanese studio film.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I,
Now I remember that one. That's a great movie.
yeah.
Um, but I've seen all of them. I like them all, but Spider-Man's the clear choice for
Hi, everybody. Here's a cameo by my son.
this. Does he want to talk about Spider-Man?
Sean, do you want to talk about Spider-Man? Yeah. So yeah, my wife's gonna get him out of the room now. Say bye, Sean. Bye, Sean. Bye, Sean.
He doesn't have your comedic timing yet, or else he would have said "Bye, Sean" right to the mic.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a child who earlier made me show him the intro to Transformers 5 times in a row. So
Well, to be fair, the intro to Transformers fools. So,
yeah, that's true.
so now
Bye,
you're all gonna
son.
now you're all gonna sit here and we're gonna play the intro to Transformers, but I'm gonna play the cheap trick version of the Transformers theme song.
Yes, yes, or the lion version. Anyway, so we're gonna edit that part out.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be easy.
Spider Verse.
Spider-Verse, definitely the most significant animated film to come out in very, very long time. Like visually, even like it went off the rails in the best possible way, and
Boy, it
to
tugs at the emotions, doesn't it?
tugs at the emotions. It's everything that like a 2D Disney movie was at one point. Like it understood sort of this characterizations and pacing
Yeah,
and the morals of the story that it's trying to put out, and um, it didn't try to disguise anything, and it spent a lot and all the time doing it as a cartoon and not sacrificing artistic vision in any way, shape, or form. Like
like it knew what it wanted to be and how to present it.
present itself, and like I think I said, and it's without even if there is hyperbole in it, it's not that much. But like in terms of like if animation, just pure animation, there probably hasn't been an animated film that sort of significantly done since some like Pixar first started coming out with stuff.
Right.
So like Pixar's only gotten better, and everything has sort of grown with Pixar. And like this one is like it's 3D CG, but done in a way that pushes a lot of boundaries, and like it was a dangerous choice to sort of try to make something look non-traditional the way they did with a lot of like comic book styling and rough edges and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like
yeah,
the youth.
it's that yeah, and it doesn't look particularly. It doesn't look super clean either. Like in terms of like the because like the thing about Disney movies is like the edges may be a little rough sometimes, but like the painting is 100% clean and smooth and perfect. And they
Yeah.
didn't go for that, and that's for the best for this movie.
So
It,
that
it's,
being said, since this is technically a Disney movie and it's animated, I mean, you
are you
think
saying you
perhaps
want to do an annex
are
episode?
you thinking that this might be an annex episode?
Is it the? I mean, like, it, it's so tangentially a Disney movie because it's still a Sony movie. Like,
Right.
it just happens
But
that Disney owns the character.
yes,
So, you're, you're, you're going to say I'm technically correct, the best
yes,
kind of correct.
you're right. I mean, JJ's the host. If you people want us here to talk about Into the Spider Verse, please
Uh,
let us know.
we'll, we'll, we'll look into. Well,
Well,
I'll get with the producers.
yeah,
We'll talk. I'll have a word with the producers, me, and we'll figure out what the future holds
yeah.
uh, for the Spider Verse induction on here. Uh, but
Spoilers. We're gonna do it.
it's probably gonna happen at some
It's
point.
probably gonna happen.
We'll probably just have a whole Marvel month.
Yeah, that's an idea. Which this side conversation for the last 10 minutes should tell you, Aristocats is an okay movie.
Yeah, yeah, like to the point where I totally forgot. Like, oh yeah, it's time to rank the Aristocats.
Yeah, let's rank this movie.
Let's rank this 1970s animated powerhouse. well,
Well, eh,
while I'm loading, while it's loading up, I'm going to look up the film of 1970 because I like to do that now and see.
70s
Uh,
are weird. Early
uh,
70s.
yeah, it's all over the place. So
Because you had that whole thing where you still had movies in the early 70s had a very 60s feel.
yeah,
And so it's like you still have like the mod haircuts and things.
yeah. So the Academy Award winner uh, uh, was Patton,
Oh boy, that's a wow.
and the top grossing film. Want to take a shot?
Top grossing film of 1970. Uh, was it 2001 maybe?
Nope. Airport.
One of those Irwin Allen disaster films?
Yep.
Wow.
So, ooh,
You still there?
I'm still there.
Okay.
Getting I'm getting some feedback on my headset, but yeah.
So,
So Nick, better or
yes.
worse than Jungle Book?
It's worse than Jungle Book.
Sword in the Stone,
It is worse than The Sword in the Stone.
Dumbo,
It is worse than Dumbo.
Fantasia,
It's worse than Fantasia.
Cinderella,
It's worse than Cinderella.
Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Worse than Ichabod.
Now I know I predicted it, and I think I'm going to get 100% right on this one. Maybe 101% right. Uh, is it
Yeah.
is it better or worse than 101 Dalmatians?
I like the movie better than 101 Dalmatians. And basically, what I told you, and I think I said
Yeah.
it maybe in the show, was like, I like this movie better when it was cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, uh,
There's just parts of it. The music helps it, to me, makes it a better movie.
yeah, I mean, like, because with 101 Dalmatians, you get Cruella de Vil, and that's like the only song, and it just plays into the plot. While this one, you get like it's got a jazzy soundtrack, and you have a jazz song, and it's like
Right.
stops the movie for this song and dance piece, and it works.
Yeah.
So,
And
let's
it's memorable music.
oh yeah, let's see. Worse than Jungle Book for me. Worse than Fantasia. Worse than Cinderella. Worse than Snow White. Yeah, I'd say it's worse than Peter Pan, worse than a hundred. Now I'm at 101 Dalmatians myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it below 101 Dalmatians for me.
Okay.
Um, I think I think I like the plot more.
Yeah.
There's more to the plot other than crazy butler poisons cats. But I, you know, I think the story's told more interestingly in Aristocats, but I like the story and the visuals
Right.
of 101 Dalmatians more. And I'm a dog person, which
Yeah, I,
helps.
I was gonna say like it probably comes at the fact that I'm a cat person and you're a dog person.
Yeah, so
And it could be,
yeah,
but boy, they're really. I feel like they're super entwined.
yeah,
Not just the plot and the animals, it's just like the
yeah,
animation too. You know.
yeah. It very clearly it has the same, um, it has the same like inking, like
Right.
and it has that kind of stuff. I also want to tell you that in 1970 featured a couple of interesting movies, including Beyond the Valley of Dolls, the one Roger Ebert movie,
Mash.
and MASH, and um, oh, what the heck was the? There was something weird. There was like a weird like Alice in Wonderland, but with a guy remake kind of
Oh
thing.
gosh.
Yeah,
I'm going to assume it was super trippy
yeah,
and
yeah. So,
involved LSD of some sort.
yeah, and so yeah, Patton obviously was is probably the biggest movie of this year. Uh, like it didn't make the most money, but it's probably had the most outside. Like it's had more. Usually the Disney movie tends to have a hit higher staying power, so to
Right.
speak. But I think in this case, you've got. I think Patton has the higher staying power than the Aristocats.
Uh,
Like
yeah.
I said, even Disney ignores the Aristocats. So
Just when I go back to like how the '70s were weird, like as far as movies go, the early '70s. Like we have Patton, which feels very
yeah,
contemporary, but
yeah,
then you have a movie like uh, Beneath the Planet of the Apes,
yeah.
which feels very like a very like early to mid '60s film.
Yeah, or like it was a year for war movies because like so we had Mash that we mentioned earlier,
Patton,
Patton, Tora Tora Tora.
right?
Um, so like yeah, it's like yeah, okay. I think the Woodstock documentary that's super famous
I believe
came
you're
out
right.
this
Yeah.
year. Um,
Kelly's Heroes,
Ellie's Heroes, yes.
right?
So yeah, so 1970. It's just gonna get weirder and weirder, and like Disney stuff is gonna start taking a back seat to a lot of other stuff that's coming out.
It's
So
it's a, it's a turbulent time in America coming up. So
yeah, and an even more turbulent time for the studio. So you know, things are okay, but it's gonna get real dark soon.
right,
I'm not even necessarily the movies don't necessarily. Nothing's gonna ever get as bad as the 40s. You're gonna get close, but not in the 70s.
no, not in the '70s.
Yeah,
'80s, maybe.
80s. There's a couple of good things in the 80s. There's a handful of good things in the 80s. I'm gonna say that the 2000s, like early 2000s, probably has some of the most forgettable ones that we're gonna ever talk about on this show. So
It's the death spiral that Princess and the Frog pulled him out of.
yeah, yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
It's gonna be real interesting. But so next week, we've mentioned before a contentious movie because I think Nick thinks I hate it, and I don't know why. But, but
I don't
it's
think you hate it. I don't think you like it.
but we'll get to it when we get to it next week with Robin Hood
Robin Hood,
and a
Oodalolly.
the a Disney adaptation of Robin Hood. So,
Yes.
but not the Robin Hood that you know. It's actually an adaptation of the Robin Hood that just came out. So it's a weird time travel thing. It's very interesting.
Yep,
Uh,
it's based off Prince of Thieves. So
it has
Robin Hood has a English accent that just fades in and out.
yeah, it's got and also you got Jamie Lee Fox in it. So.
Yeah,
Jamie Lee Fox, huh? Jamie Lee
Jamie Lee
Curtis
Fox.
mixed with Jamie Fox.
Yep.
Interesting choice I made with that.
Okay, that's all right.
It's yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. He
That's
was he was murdered by Michael Myers in the new Halloween.
yeah.
Even that didn't happen.
He's murdered by Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, yeah, in a
He stabbed him and said, "Oh, behave."
behave, and then yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
it's exciting. I am very
this is
tired.
this is a part of the podcast we've introduced where JJ just ships celebrities.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
start combining celebrities. I'm seeing the name Joe Don Baker right now, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to because he was in Adam 6 a.m., which was a movie in the 1970s. 1970s. So it's
I,
like
I I often get Joe Don Baker and Don the Dragon Wilson mixed up.
I just watched Goldeneye last night, so it's nice to see Joe Don Baker's name pop up. It's like, oh yeah, I like Joe Don Baker.
Jimbo,
Yeah, Jimbo.
Jimbo, Jimbo.
Okay, so yeah, we're officially at just run out of things to say. So next week, join us for Robin Hood, where it'll be very, very fun. It's an episode we've been looking forward to
For a
uh,
variety of
for a
reasons.
variety of reasons. It's not
It
only it's a very it's a turning point movie for Disney,
yeah.
for better or worse,
Uh,
and uh,
I would say there are two episodes that we're looking forward to for just the conflict between us. This one and a one that will come on maybe what 20, 30 weeks from now?
uh, let's
24, something like that.
And it's not even because of the movie, which is the best part of the whole thing.
Mm,
The movie itself, I think we'll agree on.
yeah.
So 19, yeah, okay.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
it's in the 30s when we get to that one. So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. But yeah, next week is Robin Hood. Very exciting. Can't wait. But until then, thank you again for joining us, and have a magical day.
Bye.